In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a Google Sheets document in n8n with column headings so that you can process all of your information and all of your workflow without having to have your Google Sheets set up first. All right, and so I'm just going to this test workflow right here. In fact, this right here is the process that you would need in order to be able to create the Google Sheet, move it to where you want it to go, and then to create the column headings. So let's just go ahead and create a Google Sheet. And I just have a test workflow here, click button. That one doesn't really matter. But here we have a node for Google Sheets. So you set up your credentials. You're gonna do an operation of create. You're gonna give it a title. It's important to give it a title. And then you wanna create at least one sheet, all right? And you create as many sheets as you want. Just be aware that you'll have to create the following process for every sheet in order to have them have columns, all right? And I'll explain that again in a minute. But we're just gonna have a sheet called test sheet. Let's go ahead and create that. And boom, we've got ourselves a sheet. We have my spreadsheet ID. And now the thing is, it's nowhere. Like I don't even know where this thing is. It just created it and it's in my Google Drive somewhere, but I don't know. So that's why we need a Google Drive move node here. So we have our Google Drive, set up your credentials there. Resources file, operation is move. Now the file that we're moving is this ID right here. So I'll go ahead and delete that. We're gonna move this over, boom, just like that. That's how we know which one we're moving. And where we're gonna put it is you just find your parent drive and then put it in the folder that you've set up. Now over here, I have a folder and it's just called n8n tests. You'll see there's nothing in it. So let's go ahead and test this and it's gonna move my file over. So I come back here, boom, test sheet is right there. And if we open up test sheet, we will see that there is nothing in this. It's nothing, it's empty, right? But it does have a sheet name of test sheet. Wonderful. So everything's working right so far. Now, I don't like just having empty Google Sheets. I'd like to be able to put stuff into these Google Sheets and particularly into the columns I want them to go into. So in order to do that, we have to follow this process right here. So first we set up an edit field node. All right, so a set field. And you're gonna set it to a name of columns. You're gonna have a string, and then you're gonna have comma separated titles. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. All right, now if I was gonna put something else here, I would do like test sheet, and I can have spaces, not a problem to have spaces, as long as it fits within the commas and you don't have any leading or trailing white space. So no spaces after your commas, no spaces before your commas, just no extra spaces other than what you want it to be called, all right? So we're gonna go ahead and run that. It's gonna give me my columns, 1, 2, test sheet, 4, 5, all right? Then you need this code node. This code node, what I did is I had Google ChatGPT help me write this. But please feel free to pause the video, go ahead and copy it. I might even go ahead and just copy and paste this into the video description as well, just because it's not particularly complicated. But what it's doing is it's going to split each of those columns into their own item, their own JSON item, and then we're going to be able to put those into the Google Sheet. So let me go ahead and just test step. And there we go. We've got 1, 2, 4, 5 test sheet. And that's interesting that it seems to have tried to alphabetize them. It shouldn't have done that because I have never had that issue before. So let's just see what happens actually. And I'll go back and I'll show you what happens if you actually use real names because I've never had that happen before. But here we're moving on. We're going to now append these items into our Google Sheet. Now the thing is, if I come back to my Google Sheet, there's actually still nothing here. And normally when you append stuff into a Google Sheet, it requires you to match data fields with where you're putting them. So where are you putting this into which column? But we don't have columns yet. It's all empty, right? In fact, it even says no columns found in the Google Sheet. Retry, it's giving me an error. But I don't need to have anything in it when we're doing it this way. So again, we're doing a Google Sheet, so make sure you're setting up your credentials. We're doing an operation of append row. We're doing this by ID, all right? The name of the sheet we're doing it is in test sheet, and I've hard-coded this in. I could go back over here to the create sheets. I can come in and find my sheet name somewhere in here. But just for testing purposes, I've hard coded it in. So here it is. It's sheets, title, test sheet. I only want it to put it into this one sheet. And that's why I've hard coded it in. If I put in the expression, there's a good chance it's going to try to make it the column headings for all of the sheets, but I don't necessarily want that because I may want different column headings in different sheets. So I've gone ahead and just hard coded it, and I've said that like 4 times. I'm just going to move on. I'm going to test it, and it's going to return with, boom, 1, 2, 4, 5 test sheet. Very strange that it gave me, it's still not quote it's quote alphabetical, and it shouldn't have done that. But if we come back here, we'll see I've got 1, 2, 4, 5 test sheet. But I also have the second row here for some reason, 1, 2, 4, 5 test sheet. Why did it do that? And the reason it did that is because it didn't have any columns to put anything into in the first place. And so what it did is it created the columns based on what we created, and then it appended that information into those columns. Well, that's not particularly helpful because now I've got 2 rows of the same thing, and like that's just not good data practice, right? So in order to fix this, before moving on and processing any other information that we might put into this Google Sheet, we're gonna have one last node. It's gonna be a remove the extra row node. So we're gonna come in here. It's a resource sheet within document. The operation is delete rows or columns. Again, we have our ID that we just pulled from when we created the document in the first place. And the test sheets is the name of the sheet that we're gonna, test sheet is the name of the sheet that we're working in. What we're gonna do is we're gonna delete a row, starting with row 2, and then we're gonna delete 1 row. We do that, it's gonna give me a success, true, good, and we come back here, boom, it's all gone. Just as I was hoping for. All right, now let's go ahead and delete this because I wanna show you what happens when you don't use numbers. It's kind of weird that it did that. I've never had that happen. So we're gonna call this test sheet. For the first column, we're gonna do piggyback, I don't know, I'm just making up words. Bowling ball and fasting. So just go ahead and do it again. And you'll notice I deleted this here. If I had not deleted this, if we came back here to the add columns node, it would find those columns, the 1, 2, 4 test sheet, and then it would break. And it's gonna break because again, it wants to append the information into the Google Sheet under the columns that are already there. If there's no columns there, it will create the columns. If there is a column there, it'll break because it wants to try to match it into the column that it's supposed to, but we never set it up. We've never set it up because here there's nothing to set up. I can't, grab something and put it in because it just hasn't been made yet. There's just nothing in the sheet. So that's why I deleted it before I'm going to do this test. So we're going to try it again. We're going to run this. We're going to see that I've got my test sheet, piggyback, bowling ball, fasting. I'm going to run this again. And it should give it to me, test sheet, piggyback, bowling ball, fasting. There, now it's in the right order. It's not alphabetized. I don't know what it was with the numbers, but I decided to do it. We'll run my column to put them in. There we go, test sheet, piggyback, bowling ball, fasting. And I did it twice, just like I told you it would. And then we go ahead and remove that last one. And now our sheet is now ready. It's primed to be able to go ahead and process any other information that you need to do. All right, here's a keyword, a Google Keyword Planner spreadsheet that I have created. And so I have a workflow for this. In fact, let me see, is this it here? No, it's this one. Not that one, this one. So I have a workflow that takes a video transcript of mine. It actually takes the MP3, it creates the transcript. And then you'll see it creates the Google Sheet with all of the columns. So in here, I create my Google Sheet. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different sheets in that document. So I have to do it 1, 2, 3, 4 times in order to create each of the columns. And you'll see that here in sheet 1, it makes all my column headings. In sheet 2, it makes my headings 3 and 4. And so I'm able to create, honestly, as big of a Google Sheet as I could possibly want using n8n. And all I would do is I would just duplicate this, just copy, paste, come over here, connect them, and then change the data. So I would change my columns headings here, and then I would change the sheet that I would paste it into here, as well as on the remove sheet or on the remove row node. So you just have to make sure that you put the right sheet into the Google Sheets nodes that you're operating in, so that it is put into and cleaned up the right way. And so that is how you create Google Sheets with columns in n8n for further processing with almost no hassle whatsoever. And if you found this video helpful, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video, because it really does help it get out there for the people who need this content. Also, if you want more n8n tips and tricks, please feel free to join my free school community. The link is in the description below. I also give away over 25 different workflows in n8n that you'll be able to use for marketing, for processing information, for developing product lists, and all kinds of other stuff, as well as a pretty cool personal assistant bot that I've developed. It's all within the school community. The link is down below. I'm Bradford Carlton. Let's automate your success together.